What started in 2018 as a tussle between the now former Auditor General, Mr. Daniel Yaw-Domlevo, and the Audit Service Board Chair has finally come to an end, with the President directing the Auditor General to proceed on retirement. And it looks like Mr. Yaw-Domlevo may have conceded by announcing that he is today, March 10, 2021, organizing a Thanksgiving service. But before then, the CSOs Against Corruption in Ghana are making a statement on the President directive, which they have described as unconstitutional and targeted.
Letter issued by the Office of the President purporting to retire the Auditor General, Mr. Daniel Domlevo. The letter was issued barely a day after Mr. Domlevo's return to his post, after he had been unconstitutionally compelled by the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to undertake a purported accumulated leave of 169 days. We aim to set out in detail the facts and circumstances surrounding the Auditor General forced retirement. These facts and circumstances, in our view, give credence to our belief that Mr. Domlevo was unfairly targeted merely for pursuing his constitutional mandate. Really, Mr. Domlevo's exemplary work has not gone unnoticed. The World Bank, in its 2020 global report titled Enhancing Government Effectiveness and Transparency, the Fight Against Corruption, pages 308 to 310, singled out Ghana's Auditor General for praise for the positive impact of his work on public accountability efforts in Ghana. It is no surprise, therefore, that in 2019, Auditor General Domlevo received the award for Integrity Personality of the Year at the Maiden Ghana Integrity Awards, organized by the Ghana Integrity Initiative, the local chapter of Transparency International. Generally, we acknowledge Mr. Domlevo's sense of purpose, determination, discipline, and exceptional sense of duty. The coalition believes that the manner in which the questions regarding Mr. Domlevo's date of birth, which formed the recent basis for the President letter, were not handled in accordance with the constitutional directive in Article 23, that administrative actions should be handled fairly, reasonably, and in compliance with the due process of law. The coordinated actions of the Office of the President and the Audit Service Board Chair on this matter further confirms our belief that Mr. Domlevo has been unfairly targeted. But to fully appreciate the matter at hand, we wish to take the opportunity to set out in detail the facts and circumstances which led to the forced retirement of the Auditor General. The chronology of events. First, Auditor General Domlevo's petition to President Akufo-Addo. So on or about July 27, 2018, the Auditor General petitioned President Akufo-Addo over the claims that the chairman of the Audit Service Board, Professor D. Adjuman, was undermining his authority and or interfering with the work contrary to law. Amongst the claims Mr. Domlevo made against the chairman in his petition to the President were: 1, procurement manipulations, interference with audit processes, and 3rd, unlawful circulation of audit findings. With respect to the alleged procurement manipulations, Auditor General Domlevo indicated in his petition to the President that the board chair had instructed Mr. Johnson Ekuamua-Esiedu, a Deputy Auditor General, and Mr. Ebenezer Agro-Masa, a procurement officer, to replace some firms which have been awarded contracts with firms of the chairman's choice. This was done without the knowledge or consent of neither the Auditor General nor the Public Procurement Authority. This was according to Mr. Domlevo. Enter into the fray the former senior minister and then Kroll Associates. So in that same year, the Office of the Auditor General, in its report of December 2018 on ministries, departments, and agencies, indicated that during a review of the contract with Kroll Associates, we noted that there was no evidence of work done. The Finance Ministry in 2000 paid $1 million to the company. Auditor General Domlevo therefore surcharged the former senior minister, Mr. Yaw-Mafo, and 4 other officials of the Finance Ministry over the payment of the $1 million to Kroll Associates for consultancy services. Then on December 20, 2019, Kroll Associates, the former minister and the 4 officials appealed against the Auditor General's surcharge at the High Court. Now, one of the key issues before the High Court was whether or not the services Kroll Associates contracted for had been rendered. At the High Court, the Kroll Associates contract documents were argued by counsel for the former senior minister to be a matter of national security, and therefore had to be inspected privately rather than in open court by the Auditor General. The High Court Justice Efiasewa Asaribotre referred the matter to the Supreme Court pursuant to Article 135(1) of the 1992 Constitution, as the Supreme Court, by constitutional design, has the exclusive jurisdiction in the matters of national security. The Supreme Court ordered the former senior minister to make available the documents relating to Kroll Associates' contract for inspection by the Auditor General on July 1st, 2020. Interestingly, the Supreme Court did not make any determination on whether or not the documents were indeed a matter of national security. July 28, Auditor General, after having been on voluntary leave for 21 working days, went to his office to pick documents, but to his surprise, the locks to his office had been changed without notice to him. And then finally, on May 26, 2020, the High Court delivered its judgment in which it indicated that it was satisfied that there were grounds to set aside the findings and surcharge made by the former minister and 4 others. So without commenting on the correctness or lack thereof of the High Court decision, we are persuaded that any objective mind and well-meaning Ghanaian presented with these facts and circumstances will ask questions about the propriety of the president's actions. Let me deal with this small matter of inconsistencies in the date of birth of Auditor General Domlevo, and I've seen videos going around of Mr. Domlevo talking about people staying in office, after 60 years and so on. Part of the propaganda that has been put around left and right. On March 3rd, a letter issued by the Office of the President constructively and without legal justification retired Mr. Domlevo as Auditor General on grounds that he had attained the age of retirement based on his alleged date of birth being June 1, 1960. Now, it is important to note that the Audit Service Board has no authority under the laws of Ghana to determine the accuracy of Mr. Domlevo's date of birth. In addition, given the series of confrontations and the Audit Service Board, particularly its chairman, Professor Diadman, had with Mr. Domlevo, it was only fair and consistent with the rules of natural justice for the matter to have been referred to the appropriate state agency or authority for its determination. I mean, think about it. In any of your institutions, if one day your employer calls you and says, you have 2 dates on your records, we want to be sure which one, because we need to be clear that one is authentic and one is wrong. And you say, no, this is my date of birth, and I have evidence, to prove it, to support it. And your HR says, no, we have decided that we are going to give you this date of birth, even though you are saying that this is your date of birth. Almost like it's a straight liability. As soon as you put your date of birth there, you can't take it back. It's ridiculous. And the danger about these things is that it sets precedents. And we have to be careful about these things. So the manner in which this was handled was, completely inappropriate. So based on the actions that have been taken, should the state believe that Mr. Domlevo was born on 1st June 1960 because the Audit Service Board chair has decided that this is the date that he prefers? Is that how dates of birth are determined in this country? The hurriedly orchestrated queries and decisions taken by the Audit Service Board, acting in concert with the Office of the President, and the President's unilateral decision to forcibly retire Mr. Domlevo on the same day he returned to post from an equally false accumulated leave confirms our belief that Mr. Domlevo has been unfairly targeted. The coalition notes with regret that the Supreme Court is yet to determine 2 suits relating to the constitutionality of the Auditor General's forced accumulated leave by the President, which was filed by Professor Kwaku Asare and 9 CSOs in July and October 2020 respectively. In part, this delay in hearing these time-sensitive cases have rendered some of the issues raised before the court moot and has allowed a grave breach of the Constitution to fester, at least in our estimation. So let me conclude. These two suits pending before the Supreme Court go beyond the Auditor General, Dom Leveau, and the President's action. The suits border on the broader issue of whether or not a president could exercise administrative authority over independent constitutional bodies. Therefore, it is important for the Supreme Court to deal with these suits expeditiously to prevent any such action by a future president. In the interest of promoting good governance, constitutionalism, and public accountability, we do call on the Supreme Court to deal with these suits as soon as practicable. We also urge the Auditor General to take action against the Audit Service and the Presidency for administrative injustice. This is a matter that should definitely go to Shraj, because I think the Auditor General, for the interest of posterity, his own integrity, it's a matter that has to be established as a matter of law. That it cannot be just some administrative choice to certify that he was born on the day that he says he was not born. So it's just a really an oddity. And the only way you can deal with that is to invite Shraj to intervene and allow him to present the documentation that he has made, to the board, which the board said it was inadmissible. So the board is now sitting as a judge, jury, and determining whether or not documentation, even formal documentation, is admissible by them or not. The antecedents of the Dom Leveau matter has left a sour taste in our mouths and led us to question the commitment of our leaders to accountable governance. It is a wake-up call to all well-meaning Ghanaians to be citizens and not spectators, to speak up and not stay silent when such manifestly unfair treatment is meted out to individuals who are trying to do their job, and to do so with integrity.
So for the CSOs Against Corruption, the President's directive asking the former Auditor General to proceed on retirements further dampens the nation's commitment to holding state institutions accountable. For Ghana Web TV, I am George A.E.C.